if you could share your screen, Richard, that'd be fantastic.
Right, yeah. Okay. Hi, Chris.
Yeah, hi.
Good to see some familiar faces here.
Yeah, that's very good. So we might be able to give you another sort of 10, 15 minutes, Richard, just to try and make up a bit of time for you.
Okay, sure. Well, thanks very much for that. I'll try and rattle through as quickly as I can. And what I'll do is, if you've got any questions, I'll answer questions at the end. Put them in the chat box if you like, whilst I'm talking. And then when we get to the end, then I'll just be able to go through and answer what I can in the time that we've got available. So I'll start off just telling you a little bit about myself and my background. So I live here in St Albans, grew up here in St Albans, in fact, and I first became a landlord, accidental landlord, in the mid-90s. I was living in a one-bedroom flat at the time in Luton. Wife was pregnant with our only child, and we couldn't sell the property because there was a bit of a crash at the time, so we started renting it out, and moved to Dunstable at the time. It was around about 2000 that I was listening to a fellow on being interviewed on the TV, and he had about 50 or 60 properties. He was based up north, and the interviewer was saying to him, well, how come you've managed to develop such a large portfolio? And he said, well, it's quite simple. I just release the equity in properties as they increase in value and use that to go and buy some more. So that was my light bulb moment. So it took me a long time to get there, but yeah, so around about 2000, that's when I started to then follow the same strategy. Started to buy some more properties, and then in 2007 I made a bit of a mistake. Instead of going on a buying spree when property prices dropped, I didn't do anything, and I thought, well, I'm going to park this property business for a while, and stop buying properties. And I just focused on my corporate career, which did go very well. I had a successful job running major projects within new corporate headquarters buildings. I was building teams and delivering multi-million-pound projects to corporate clients. So it sort of stood me in good stead. But then really around about 2016, I started to feel that I had done what I wanted to do in the corporate world. I was getting bored, lost my mojo, if you like. So I started to think then that maybe I should get back into property. And so I went along to a PIN meeting, and I started to hear terms like rent to rent and purchase lease options and serviced accommodation. And I started thinking to myself, oh, things have changed a bit. These are strategies that weren't around, in 2007. So I decided that I should educate myself and find out exactly what was going on. So I went along to a Mastermind Accelerator 3-day workshop. And at the end of that, I thought, right, that's it. I set myself a date to finish the corporate career in 2017, and at the same time I booked myself onto a mastermind 12-month program with PIN, and really that's when I sort of planned my exit and decided exactly what I wanted to do with regards to property going forward. Also at that time, I started listening to various different podcasts and reading books, and it became quite clear to me that if I wanted to build my property business and scale it up, then I couldn't be doing this all on my own. I needed to systemize my business, and I needed to take on somebody else to actually help with the day-to-day tasks, the day-to-day operations within the business, so that I could free up my time so that I could work on the business and not in it. So I went about doing that, and I recruited my first VA from the Philippines, and she was dealing with all the day-to-day operational tasks within the business, and it all worked very well. At that time, a lot of people were coming to me, people in my mastermind group, and they were coming to me and they were going, wow, Richard, it's amazing the way you've managed to systemize your business. You've taken on this VA from the Philippines. And people were saying to me, we've tried working with a VA and we've not had the same level of success. So what's your secret? So I would start to ask, what software are you using? Okay, what's your CRM system? What project management software are you using? What bookkeeping software are you using? How are you delegating the tasks? How is your VA reporting back to you? And I was getting continuously. I'm getting blank faces staring back at me. So the people that had taken on a virtual assistant and it hadn't worked, they weren't working virtually. They had one part of the system in that they'd taken on somebody to do the tasks, but they didn't have what was necessary around that. So, you know, I started to say to people, well, you know, if you want to systemize your business, then you've got to have the complete package. You've got to be using software, you've got to be having processes, and you've got to have the people as well in the business to actually use the software and run the process. So people started saying to me, well, can you help me systemize my business? Can you show me how to do it? And at first I would say, no, I'm a property investor. But so many people were coming to me and asking me for help that in the end I said, right, okay, I'll start to do this. And that led to me recruiting virtual assistants for people and providing mentoring, which then led to Boom, which is the service that we now provide for people. So why do you want to systemize your business? So first of all, do you want to be a landlord, or do you want to be a property entrepreneur? So a landlord is somebody that is going around collecting rents, fixing leaking taps, dealing with tenants, advertising properties, doing the bookkeeping, doing everything within the business, and become very, very busy, but can really only sort of deal with 2, 3, 4 properties, and then they just run out of time. A property entrepreneur, however, is somebody that recognizes that they have a property business and they want to grow that property business. And in order to do that, they've got to systemize the business to allow them to scale up, to give them the time. So another reason why you might want to systemize the business is because it may be that you only want to have a small business with just a handful of properties, but you want to get some time back in your life. So you don't want to be that landlord that's running around dealing with tenants and collecting rents and doing everything else that needs to be done. You want to spend time on other things, going on holiday, being with family, all sorts of other reasons. So to get your time back, it may be that you already have a full-time job and you haven't got 40 hours a week to devote to your property business plus the rest. So you've got a full-time job. Your property business is something that you do in the evening or weekends. And do you really want to be spending all of your free time doing a second job? Or again, it may be that you are coming out of full-time work to concentrate purely on your property business. And do you really want to swap one full-time job for another? So there's lots of reasons why you want to systemize your business. So as I said earlier, there are 3 elements to a systemized business. And first is process. Process are the steps that you take, the actions that you take within your business to do what you do. Second is the software that you use. So we're going to talk a lot about software in a second, but like I said, bookkeeping software, CRM systems, property management software, all of those different packages. And then the third are the people within your business. And I guess one of the best examples of a systemized business is McDonald's. Okay. Also, when you've got a systemized business, everything is consistent. You've got consistent quality. Every client that comes to you, you're going to deliver exactly the same product, exactly the same service to your client, whether your client's a guest, a tenant, whatever they are. So you've got consistency in what you do. You're repeating the same process over and over and over again. You are also, with a systemized business, you're recognizable for your quality and what you do. So your business becomes like a well-oiled machine. Everything happens exactly the same sequence with a guaranteed output. Now, with every business, there are five essential ingredients, if you like, okay? 5 elements to the process. First of all, you've got the marketing. So this is how you attract people to your business. You get inquiries coming in. Then you've got sales. So how you convert those inquiries from those potential clients from inquiries to firmed up business sales. So that's, again, it can be tenants, it can be guests, it can be anybody that's doing business with you. Then you've got the finance. So this is how you get paid, how you collect your rents, how you pay your suppliers, how you deal with your credit control. Then you have the operation side of the business, so how you actually deliver your product and your service. And then the 5th element, which a lot of people forget, is how you retain those clients, how you perhaps get them to repeat that whole process again. So it doesn't matter whether you've got a property business or whether you've got a fish and chip shop. These 5 elements are consistent with every type of business. And when you systemize a business, you have to put processes in place for all of these elements to create that well-oiled machine that is going to give you the maximum output for the minimum amount of effort. So let's talk about software. I think, Chris, you're going to distribute this presentation afterwards, isn't there? But you may want to.
Yes, I will.
Yeah, you may want to make some notes here. First of all, if you are working with a team, okay, so when you systemize your business, you're building a team, and that team's going to comprise of a number of different people. And often you're going to be sharing logons to internet sites, to software that you're using with people within your team. Now, it's always very good practice anyway for every site that you go onto for security purposes to have unique passwords with every single site. Okay, and not to write those unique passwords down in a little brown book somewhere. LastPass is a piece of password management software. Very, very easy to use, and it will allow you to, it will generate for you unique passwords for every site that you go to. It will save those passwords encrypted, so they're encrypted in the cloud. So very, very safe, very, very secure. And you only have one password to remember. And that is your main password to get onto LastPass, to use that. And you can then share those passwords with other people within your team without them ever knowing what the password is. So it's very, very safe, very easy to share passwords. And when that person leaves your team, then you just withdraw the permission. So LastPass, essential tool when working with teams. Then the next one I would encourage you to be using is some kind of CRM system. A CRM system is a client relationship management software. And it's where you store all of your contact details for all of the people you engage with. You record all of your conversations that you have with them. When I say record, you type out, not an audio recording, but you type notes every time you engage with that particular contact. It will log every meeting that you have, every appointment, everything you do with that person, every email that you send to that person. Everything is logged within your CRM system. And that becomes one of your greatest business assets, because it's got a record of all of your engagements with all of your suppliers, all of your clients, everybody you do business with. So imagine if you go to sell your business or sell your portfolio, and you have got all of your records there within a piece of software, and you can pass that on to the person that's going to buy your business. So it's a very, very valuable asset. The one we recommend is Less Annoying CRM. It integrates with Google, so it will pass all of that information down to your iPhone or your device. And it's very, very simple to use. One of the problems with CRM systems is that they can be very complicated to use and very difficult to use, so people give up on them. Less Annoying CRM is like it says on the tin. It's less annoying. It's very easy to use. It's very cheap. It only costs £7.50 a month. And so it's cheap to use. And if you decide that you want to opt out at any time, you can do that. So you haven't got any long-term subscriptions. In fact, with Less Annoying CRM, if you sign up to that via my website, you even get a 60-day free trial. So no risk at all. You should be using some software for task management. So when you're delegating tasks to people within your team, then you should be doing this using some software where everything is recorded, keeping all of the information in one place. You can log on to it, your team can log on to it, you're setting due by dates, you're saving links to other websites that they may be able to use, or documents that you've got on your cloud drive that may be needed to complete the task. Trello and Asana are both very, very good task management pieces of software. Personally, I like Trello the best for task management, for managing to-dos. If you've got a project where you've got a start date and an end date and lots of people within your team having to do different things, I think Asana is probably better for that. But for general day-to-day management of people, regular members of your team within your organization, Trello is my preferred option. Accounting software. So to simplify all of your accounts, your reconciliation of your transactions going in and out of your bank account, there are two very good pieces of software. One is Xero, and the other is QuickBooks. I use both of these, and I would say Xero is probably better for property management. We also use QuickBooks within VABABOOM for that business, but for the property side, we use Xero. And the way this really does simplify things. So pulling away from Excel spreadsheets, you don't need to use those. These are standard solutions, industry recognized solutions. You can find bookkeepers out there that are trained in using this software. Your accountants will be using this sort of software, and we have VAs that are trained bookkeepers in using these bits of software. And so the software itself will automatically link to your bank account, and it will pull transactions that are coming in and out of your bank account directly into the software. And then your VA or your bookkeeper just needs to go through that, and they can reconcile all of those transactions. And then at the end of the year, your accountant, again, they can just log on. They've got all of the data, all of the information that they need, and then they can prepare your end of year accounts. So it really does speed up and simplify the process. And saving time is saving money. For those of you that are in serviced accommodation, there's various different channel managers that can be used within your serviced accommodation business to automate the processes there. So they will update information to the OTAs. You put all your rates, your descriptions of your properties, photographs of your properties into the channel manager, and that then squirts it out to the various different online travel agents or OTAs. It also keeps all of the calendars in sync. It sends notifications to cleaners It processes payments. It will send standard template emails automatically to guests at the various different stages of the booking process. So it really does simplify that. I love Super Control. That's what I use in my business. I think Chris and Lisa, I think you're using that as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm still using it, Richard.
Yeah. There's others around, you know, there's Guesty, there's a number of different different channel managers, but you definitely do, once you get over to sort of 3 or 4 properties, really, you really do need to be using a channel manager to save time. For those of you that are renting out rooms or single lets, Arthur is very good as property management software. Landlord Vision is another one. I think Arthur is better if you've got larger portfolios with perhaps HMOs in it. Landlord Vision maybe for smaller portfolios and for single lets. But they will automate in the same way that Super Control does for serviced accommodation. They will automate a lot of the processes needed to run a single let or a HMO portfolio. You should be using some kind of cloud storage. So especially again, when you're working with teams, when you've got remote people that you're working with, be a VA or somebody else that you need to share documents and files with. Various ones out there. You've got OneDrive, you've got Dropbox, Google Drive, iCloud, there's others. But we use OneDrive mainly. That comes free with Office 365. And then you can set up a folder on there so you can keep all your personal stuff separate and then have a working folder that you share with your team, which you give them permission to, and then any working documents you save within subfolders within that particular folder. We use advanced tenant referencing for processing tenant references. Another one, if you're in the NLA or RNLA, I think they're called now, they have a tenant referencing service in there which you can use. Far better than trying to do it yourself. Okay, get a third party to do it. It's much safer. They'll go through the process. It costs about £20, something like that, to process a reference. Saves you all that time of having to do it yourself and getting it wrong possibly. We use Signable for generating ASTs, and also on the SA business, house rules that are signed by tenants, by guests, sorry, for generating any kind of JV agreements. You can use Signable, send those out electronically. That can then get signed, comes back to you. No need to start posting things out. It's done instantly. It's still legally binding just as much as a wet signature. So that's very good for exchanging documents. Typeform is another one when we're sticking with documents. Typeform allows you to collect lots of data. So you send an electronic questionnaire, great for feedback forms and this sort of thing. We send a Typeform initially when a tenant says to us, hey, I want to take a room. We send them a Typeform and we use that to capture the initial data, the information that we need to pass on to advanced tenant referencing. All of this stuff is done by my VAs. I don't have to do any of this stuff. It's all done by VAs. On the financial side, Go Cardless will allow you to accept direct debits. So that will really reduce, if you've got tenants, that will really reduce late payments if you've got a direct debit arrangement set up. Stripe, if you need to take card payments for anything. In fact, I know a few of you have got HMOs. So I'll talk about how our process for letting out rooms with HMOs. And all of this is done by a VA. So the room will get advertised on OpenRent and SpareRoom.com, which in turn puts it on Rightmove and Zoopla and Gumtree and other different platforms. So the VA will paste it out onto there. Inquiries will come in. The VA will pick up those inquiries. They will, and this is when I talk about process, and I'm describing a process to you now. They will qualify that. They will send a text using text marketer down the bottom left-hand corner, and they will send a text to the applicant and qualify when do they need the room, are they working, are they over 21, and then provided it qualifies, then they'll arrange the viewing. More recently, you might send a video viewing first. They'll arrange the viewing. Either I will do the viewing or we'll use Viewer, so they will coordinate that viewing with the prospective tenant, with the person that's doing the viewing. When we then have we've done the viewing, if the tenant then says yes, I want to go ahead, then the VA will send out a form using Typeform so we can collect that data. They will raise an invoice in Arthur for £100 as a room reservation fee. They will also issue to them an invoice for the deposit. So that's raised in Arthur, which also raises it within Xero at the same time, because there's a two-way integration between the two. Using Arthur, it will initiate the tenant referencing using advanced tenant referencing. Advanced tenant referencing will collect the information that they need. They will then notify the VA that yes, this has been approved. At that point, again using Arthur, we will raise the AST, which is using Arthur to raise it, but the actual document is created in Signable. I will then sign that AST. It then goes to the tenant to sign. The VA will also raise another invoice then for the first month's rent. We will collect those payments so the tenant can pay those using a card, because we've got a Stripe account linked to it as well. So we will collect those payments directly, if the tenant can make them on their telephone, and then we will do the move-in. The tenant, we will then obviously register things like the deposit and issue out all of the other documents that are needed as well. So fire safety certificate, EPC, etc. All of that will get issued. And then that's really the end of that process for getting that tenant moved in and onboarded. And I haven't had to do anything really there. Perhaps I might have done the viewing. So that's an idea process. A lot of the DocuSign, that's another one of the same as Signable, that allows you to raise documents electronically. A lot of these bits of software, they integrate within each other, so you don't have to put the information into one and then put it into something else. Zapier is a piece of software where there is not an integration between bits of software. You can create it using Zapier. So now we'll come on to the people. So Brad Sugars, who runs Action Coach, which is a worldwide franchised coaching operation. A multi-millionaire, written many books, many videos, and also is a very large property investor. Not in so much as he eats too much, but has a substantial portfolio. So a little quote I like from Brad Sugars: "Not employing someone in your business is costing you a fortune." Okay, you need teams within your business to grow. So who are the people you can employ within your business? So Richard mentioned earlier, virtual PA service, so a call answering service where you're not taking the phone calls, somebody else is doing it for you. And maybe you've given them scripts so that they can qualify inquiries, this sort of thing. Maintenance people, trades, cleaners, don't try and do this stuff on your own. Don't try and do it yourself, okay? Your time is too valuable. So let them, and you'll find that they'll do a better job as well, more than likely, unless this is your background. You may have a property manager. So once your portfolio starts to grow, you may have a property manager who may also do other things like first line maintenance, maybe doing the viewings, move-ins, this sort of thing. And then finally, a virtual assistant. Now, virtual assistant can be based in the UK, or they can be somebody that's based overseas. All of our VAs come from the Philippines. And there's good reasons for that. The Philippines is very, very popular now for recruiting VAs. The people themselves, they are generally highly intelligent. You know, they're university educated. They have a very good work ethos. They have excellent English skills. They are trained by us. Our VAs are trained by us in the business processes, in things like Trello and less annoying CRM and various different bits of software. They are also very hardworking and honest. And a lot of them, they like to work on a UK time clock. Well, first of all, they would expect, if they're working for a UK client, that they're going to be working on a UK time clock. And for them, it actually works quite well, because a lot of them have got children, or they may have a day job, and they're 8 hours ahead of us. So in the morning, when we start work, it's early evening for them. So they can start their work when they finish their daytime duties, be them children or another job. So it actually works quite well. The other part of the world which uses VAs in the Philippines a lot is America. And that really is a graveyard shift for them, because the American market, their time difference means that they've got to be working at 2 o'clock in the morning. So the UK is very popular for virtual assistants to actually look for work. And we get hundreds of applications. When we're recruiting, we get hundreds of applications coming in. So what do you get for your money? So without being derogatory to McDonald's workers, a minimum wage person in the UK, which is more than £7.25 an hour, this is really what you can expect. However, for a maximum, you're not going to pay any more than £7.25 for a VA in the Philippines. And you can expect somebody that is professional, trained, hardworking, honest, university educated, and a degree of maturity. So most of these are late 20s, in their 30s or 40s. What's the cost to employ somebody in the UK on PAYE? So if they're on that, and if they're on an annual minimum wage annual salary, start off with that just over £17,000. Then of course you've got to pay national insurance on that. So that brings it up to 18,270. Then you've got other costs. So nowadays, pension. You've got an onboarding cost. You've got to train that person. You've got payroll costs. You've got to set them up with an office, perhaps a computer. You've got maybe to give them a mobile phone, an internet connection. So all of that mounts up significantly. So to have somebody full-time, the real cost in the UK on PAYE is over £22,500. It may have even gone up. This slide's actually quite old. Alternatively, you could be paying somebody maximum of £7.25 to get that high caliber person working out of the Philippines. So what can they do for you? So all sorts of tasks. The list goes on. So here are some other more popular ones. First of all, they can do your diary or your calendar management. They can book in networking meetings and workshops when we get back to live events. They can be making travel arrangements for you, booking your hotels and flights. The CRM system that we talked about, they can set up that and they can manage it for you. They can manage your inbox, your emails that are coming in, and respond in the first instance to many of those, or forward urgent ones to you. We have a system for doing that. They can set up and manage your property management software, such as Arthur, or your channel manager. That they can respond to guest reviews. I don't know where the word "off" has crept in there. They can respond to guest reviews from your OTAs. Really important to be doing that. A lot of the stuff that they can do for you is the stuff that you know you should be doing, but you don't get around to doing it. They can be documenting your processes. These are your operations manuals. Another really important asset of your business is to have everything documented in how you do what you do. So they can be producing those operations manuals and keeping them updated. They can be dealing with the guests and tenants for you. They can liaise with your cleaners and your contractors. They can liaise with the OTAs. They can prepare presentations and support material for you. They can provide you with your marketing material that you need. They can set up and manage your social media channels. They can go out and increase your social media contacts. Really important nowadays, social media marketing. So much of my business comes in through social media. If you're organizing events, be them online events or live events, they can be doing that for you. They can be creating and implementing your email campaigns. They can be doing updates to your websites, liaising with your JV partners, bookkeeping for you, processing payments and dealing with your invoicing, your credit control, producing for you financial reports and statements. It's really important that you know the numbers within your business, looking at your P&L once a month, understanding how your business is performing, so they can be producing these reports. So once a month, at the end of every month, I sit down virtually with my bookkeeper who's in the Philippines, and we go through all of the businesses and look at any problems that we may have. Assisting with your HR management, property management software, and channel manager administration. I think we talked about operations and training manuals. Doing your expenses, working out your mileage, deals, processing tenant applications and move-ins, liaising with local councils and utilities, registering deposits, creating welcome packs. Really, if you're in serviced accommodation, really important one, price and rate checking. So that should something that you should be doing probably once a week. Going onto booking.com, going onto Airbnb, looking at what the rates are that other properties that similar to yours are being charged out at. You know, if you've got a property that accommodates 6 people, you need to be looking at what are the rates for 2 people, 4 people, and 6 people. So you make sure that you've got all your rates right. That's time consuming, and chances are you haven't got time to do that once a week yourself. But if you've got a VA, they can be doing that for you. And data scraping. So now you've got your VA or you've got your team on board. There are things to remember when you're managing your team. Okay, remember that you are a team. That everybody in your team is essential. Everybody in your team has a role to play, and your business doesn't function with all of those cogs so that the wheel can spin around nicely. So remember that you're a team. You're the team leader and they're team players. When you're delegating tasks, focus on the outcome, okay? Don't focus on how they've got to do things. Don't be telling your team members the little pigeon steps that they've got to take to achieve the outcome. Let people work their own way. So one good exercise is to go through all of the things that you need to do in your business. Get an Excel spreadsheet, go through everything that you've done in a week, log it all the things that you need to do, put it down on an Excel spreadsheet, and then columns to the right, put your name, and then next to that, potential VA and anybody else in your team. And then go through and put a tick in the box and just think to yourself, with these tasks, do I absolutely need to do it myself, or do I want to do it myself? Because with some tasks, you'll want to do those yourself. So think, do I need to do it, or do I want to do it myself? And if the answer is no, can you put that tick in the box next to the VA? So then delegate those tasks out and let go. When you're setting tasks, and Trello, as I said earlier, is a really good tool to do this. For every task, you raise a card on Trello, and then be really specific about what the outcome is and set a due by date of when it's got to be achieved by. On Trello, you can schedule out daily, weekly and monthly tasks, as well as to-dos, ad hoc tasks. And then, like I say, let them work their own way. If you're working with a remote team, it's really important that you have regular engagement with them. So the best way to do that is to hold a weekly video review meeting with them. Record that. If it's on Zoom, record that. And you run through every single task and you talk about the task, you answer any problems that they may have, provide any additional information. And if they finish the task, then they can discuss that with you and make sure that you agree that it's finished so you can sign it off. So delegate, use Trello or something like that as task management software, delegate the task, set the due by date, give the information that's needed and let go. Let them work their own way. So I've rattled through it a little bit. Let's take any questions if you have some.
Yes, very good. Very good, Richard. Thank you very much. So yeah, I've got a couple of questions myself, but I'll open it to the floor first, Richard.
Yep, sure.
So you can unmute yourselves. Owa, have you got a question?
Yeah, I just turned on my video so you can see me.
Hi,
hello, how are you doing?
Yeah, all good, thanks. Yourself?
Yeah, very well, thanks. Thank you so much for that. It's really, really insightful. Just a question. So if I'm a landlord or a property expert and I want to engage your services, how does that run and what are the potential costs?
Yeah, okay, right. Thank you for that. I'll tell you what, I'm going to take you to the next slide, okay, because a lot of the answers to this are on this slide. So one of the things with VAR is we're not just a VA recruitment service, okay? We are there to provide you with a complete solution to systemize your business, okay? So if you come on board, we will provide you with a VA that we have trained in a lot of this software and how to do this stuff. We train the VA in in task management, and we will train you in how all the systems and processes and how to delegate tasks. You know, what the information I've given you today has been really, really condensed down. What I would suggest is if you're interested, if you scan the code here, then you can book an appointment with me, done over Zoom, and I can talk through all of the elements, the moving parts of VAR and what we do. The rates are also on the website as well. There's lots and lots of information on the website, www.varbarbum.solutions.
Okay.
And there's also a downloadable free guide on there. So you can download that, gives lots of information on how to go about recruiting a VA, whether you want to come through VAR or not, okay? But with us, VAR is about giving total support. So it's support for you. Our clients are called VUMers, by the way. So when you come on board, you become a VUMer. We provide you with the support that you need. You have access to a video vault with lots of tutorials and information. You get one-to-one mentoring with me. We have a private Facebook group where you can ask questions. We're a community. So there's lots and lots of elements to it. And we're also about providing the support to the VAs as well. So ongoing support for them, giving them the training, the support, and everything that they need as well.
Okay, thanks for that. Is there a minimum size of portfolio you look at, or is it just?
No, there's not a minimum size of portfolio, and it doesn't have to be property. A lot of clients that we have got other businesses as well as property. You know, I've got a client that's a will writer. I've got somebody that runs a judo studio. I've got all sorts of clients. So no, it doesn't have to be property, and your property business can be of any size. And in fact, actually, one of the things with systemizing your business is the earlier you do it, the better. Because what you don't want to do is wait until you've got a portfolio that's unmanageable, and then you've got to go back and you've got to start putting software and processes and people in place, and you're trying to tame a lion. Okay, if you start with the end in mind, then you can start from day one in using some of this software, developing your processes, finding your way, and then start to introduce people to the business to take over the task.
Okay. That's great. Thank you very much. And you don't have to do full days, do you? You can do half-day VAs or?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
In fact, I don't recommend that you take on a VA full time.
Okay.
Okay. I recommend that even if you need full-time support, that you only take on a part-time. You take on 2 part-time VAs, so you've got resilience in your team. Because if you have one full-timer and they leave or they go sick or they go on holiday, all of a sudden you've got no support. If you have 2 part-timers, then you've got resilience. Okay, you're not reliant on any one person. Also, you can, when you start to build your team, so people have different skill sets. So, in fact, I've been chatting to Lisa about this. So, if you've got a bookkeeper, you really want a VA that's got bookkeeping experience and that's been trained in bookkeeping. And that person is going to be very different to somebody that does your social media.
Yeah.
So within my team, and I have mine working in pairs. So within my team now, we have 2 on recruitment. I've got 2 on social media. I do have 1 bookkeeper. I have somebody that does all the technical, the website development and everything. So I've got different people in different roles because I'm maximizing their skill sets. So you can start to use people that have got a particular experience and background in certain roles.
That's great. Thank you so much, Richard. Much appreciated.
Okay.
I'll put a link, Richard, to your website on the WhatsApp group, so people can click on that as well if that helps.
Yeah, thank you. Also, the other thing that you might want to do, if you go to my Facebook page, at the moment I'm going live on YouTube at 6 o'clock every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. And obviously they're recorded there on YouTube as well. And I'm talking about systemization. I'm talking about all sorts of things, actually, about branding and about building and growing businesses, which is what I do. It's what I know. Subscribe to my YouTube channel as well and watch some of those videos. And there's a lot more content and information. It's all free on there.
That's really good, Richard. That's great. I didn't know about the YouTube channels, so that's really useful. I think I mean, we've used VAs ourselves in the Philippines, and it's proved invaluable and has saved us so much time. And that they are of a quality that you sort of don't expect, so it can work out very reasonable. I agree with everything you said. I'll just open it up, see if anybody else has got any questions.
I have a question, please. Hi, Richard.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Not bad, you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Good. My question is, I know it might not be very accurate, but what would be roughly the monthly cost of all the software packages?
Yeah, so really good question. When we're looking at software, there's a few things that we look at. Okay, we look at usability. So how easy is it to use? Functionality, what can it do? We look at the support that is available from the company, because if you're using a software and it's got bad support, don't go there, don't bother. And we look at cost. So we evaluate software based on those elements. Now, the Trello is free. There are paid versions for all of this stuff, but do you need them? With Trello, no. For the sort of businesses that we're doing, no, you don't. LastPass, you can start off with a free version. If you want to share with more than one person, then you need to upgrade to a paid version, but it's £3 a month. Supercontrol and Arthur, they become a little bit more expensive, but there's a lot of support and a lot of development and stuff that needs to go into those. They're fairly complex bits of software. The channel manager that I said about, less annoying CRM, that's really cheap. You know, for what it is, it's $7.50 a month, and that will save you hundreds of pounds a month, you know, by keeping everything nice and neat and in the right place and being able to share safely. And like I say, a lot of this software you can subscribe to via my website, and we get special deals for people. Super Control, we can give you 7.5% discount if you mention us. You get a 7.5% discount off that. So yeah, a lot of the software we got special deals going with the providers, but that is something that we do, you know, we do look at.
Yeah, thank you.
And the other thing to point out here is that you don't have to use the ones that we recommend. The ones that we recommend, we train the VAs on. Okay, so you don't have to worry about training them. But if you were using another particular piece of your Zoho, for instance, as a CRM system, then that's absolutely fine. Your VA can use that, but we can't give the level of support that we do with the ones that we do recommend.
Fair enough, thank you.
And that's another important thing, is that if you, supposing you say to your VA, right, okay, we want to do an email campaign to all of the companies in St Albans that employ more than 100 people. If your VA has never done that before, if they've come from us and they've never done that before, then they are told, they're trained as part of their training to say to you, I've never done that before, so just be aware of that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go away and I'm going to find out how to do it, and then I'm going to come back to you. And then they will come back to us and they will say to us, I've been asked to do an email campaign, not quite sure how to go about it. So we will train them for you. So we're saving you time also in how you know, what you've got to train your VA on, which may be something you don't know how to do yourself anyway. So we provide, that's what I mean by how we provide total support.
That sounds very good, Richard. So thanks for that. It struck me while you was going through the list of software. One, it struck me how many of those we actually use ourselves. And secondly, just the volume of software that we've all now become so dependent upon to run our businesses. And it's quite, it gets quite complex. And linked to that, there was something you said about ensuring like the tenants are receiving, so say on an AST, that they're receiving all the documents they need to receive to make it a legal contract, so that you can issue sort of Section 21, Section 8 notices. So with what you were describing, you could actually absolutely prove that all the documents were sent and it was all signed. And I think, and that's getting quite a complicated process as well. So I could see again where, you know, having a really robust process with a VA is really important to make sure, if you're managing the properties yourself, that it's done properly.
It is, and VAs can deal with all of this property management, or a lot of the property management for you. But remember, you're responsible for ensuring that, you know, that the legislation has been met. Now, one of the things that I do with my property management team, VA team, is because I'm a member of the NLA. The foundation, NLA foundation training, you can do that online free of charge. So you share your login details for the NLA via LastPass with your VA, and you say, right, go on, off you go. I want you to do the NLA foundation course online. So they will learn what all that accreditate, all, you know, what all the requirements are, rather than you having to train them.
Yeah, that's really good. Any last questions for Richard before I close up?
No, I just want, hi, Ariana here. So,
hi,
Richard. Hi, how are you?
Yeah, all good, thanks.
Good,
yourself?
Good. Yeah, fine. Yeah, no, I just wanted to ask you, you were saying that you use the NLA. Have you found that a good organisation to be part of?
Yeah, they are the RNLA now, since they merged with the RLA around Christmas, I think it was. Yeah, my recommendation would be anybody that is involved in property should really join that. You know, there's a lot of resource there. They've got an advisory line. They've got documents, templates. They've links to other companies, and like I say, tenant referencing. If you get a tenant that's not that's fallen behind on the rent, then rather than trying to do that yourself, a landlord action who as a part of the RNLA accredited suppliers, I would always recommend going to them. Just don't try and do all this stuff on yourself. And yeah, they are a great resource. And you know, there's a lot of legislation when it comes to property management, and you've got to get it right. And another thing I would recommend is making sure that you're a member of a property redress scheme as well.
Property what?
Redress scheme, like property ombudsman.
Oh,
Okay, so basically that means that gives protection. So if you get anything wrong and somebody comes after you, then it's a redress scheme. So you can use that as part of your part of your branding, and then it gives confidence to the people that are dealing with you that you are that you're a professional organization, that you know what you're doing, and that if you do anything wrong, then there is a method to protect them.
okay, yeah, great, yeah, thank you. There was something else I've forgotten. Shoot. Oh yes, your YouTube site.
Yeah.
Is it under Richard Evans?
It
Because
is.
I've
No,
tried.
it is actually. I think it is varvarvum space A to B. But the quickest way to get there is go to my Facebook page. Okay, and I'll do lots and lots of posts, Ariana, on my Facebook page with Richard Evans. You're probably already a friend on there, and I put posts on there. You know, three or four times a week. Tonight's video is going to be about.
Yeah, no, I have tried, but I couldn't get through. So.
Oh, I'll
So
tell you
go to
what.
your Facebook page.
What I'll do then also is I'll post a link to it in the WhatsApp group. Shall I?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you very much, Richard. That was really interesting, very detailed, lots of content there. So thank you very much.
My pleasure.
So just in closing, that's right, pleasure. So just in closing, I'd like to thank Sam as always for his presentation on lending. That was very packed tonight. Richard Peters, thank you very much for your interesting story and honesty in terms of what you've been through.
Yeah.
That was fascinating. That was really interesting. And Richard Evans, thank you very much for such a content-packed presentation on systemizing our businesses. And I think we've all taken notes on that and things that we can take away and implement, which is fantastic. So three very good speakers. Thank you all very much. Our next meeting is on the Thursday, the 2nd of July. Again, it'll be 7 p.m. It will be a virtual meeting, regardless of what happens if the lockdown's opened up. I can't really see it myself. Regardless, we'll have our next meeting will be a virtual one, and so I look forward to seeing you all then.
Yeah. So does anyone know when is it opening for the sector, for our sector? Is it in July?
I don't think there's definite
there a
dates.
date?
No, there's no dates at the moment. It's you've got some
15th July.
dates.
15th July, I think pubs and restaurants have been opening, I think.
Yeah, pubs and restaurants.
Yeah, so it's quite difficult to. Yeah, I mean, one act's right. I think 15th of July has been mentioned.
But I don't think anyone's going to be in a hurry to get getting back.
No. I mean, yeah. Okay. So thanks again, everyone. Appreciate your input, and particularly thanks to our speakers. And stay safe and have a lovely evening. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks, Chris.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks, Lisa.
Yeah. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thanks, bye.